We're here live on the MCM Buzz. It's my pleasure to welcome to the MCM Buzz live at Expo two fantastic guests representing two great sci-fi channel shows. It is, of course, Bryant from Haven and Aaron Ashmore from Warehouse 13 and also Smallville as well.
That's me.
So welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
The
amazing.
connection is instantaneous.
We actually planned that, but we didn't know if it was going to work out that way.
Right.
But it did.
I'm pretty happy with how that
Yeah.
went. Yeah.
So, welcome to Expo. Now, I know, Lucas, you've been before to Expo, and Aaron, this is your first time at the London Expo.
Yeah.
Starting with you then, Lucas, what is it that you like about Expo? What is it that you found fun about attending here?
Yeah, last year I came and I hadn't really done anything like this before, and so I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I had a blast. I dressed up as a character from Haven.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it went very well. People bought it.
I hear you won the Haven cosplay
I did.
Amazing.
I won the Haven cosplay award. So this year I'm not doing that character from Haven, but I'm, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm playing sort of a thing within a thing here. I'm playing the actor who plays that character
Amazing.
on Haven.
I heard your prize last year was actually to appear in the second season of said series, wasn't it?
That's right. That's why I'm back this year. I hope to have a future.
Will that work for me for Warehouse 13 if I win that prize?
Considering what happened at the no spoilers, but considering what happened in Warehouse 13, that could be a boom for you, couldn't it?
This is great.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
This is promising. I didn't know it was going to work out so well.
I think we've just found your way. But Aaron, for you, I mean, this is the first time coming to the London Expo, and you've been here for about a day or so now. What has it been like for you so far, and what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I've been to some other conventions before in North America, and it seems, similar, like awesome energies, everybody's dressed up, and that's really interesting and gets me excited to be here because it's really genuine. I feel like everybody's just kind of here to have fun, and that makes it easy for us to kind of come in and just have a blast and hang out with some fans and, meet lots of people, so it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Sci-fi fans are so brilliantly interested and interesting and cool and I don't know about you, but we shoot in this tiny town in Nova Scotia, and a lot of times it feels like we're doing it in a bubble. So to get to come and meet people who enjoy the show and appreciate it, it's really a blast for me.
And what has it been like for you, fans? Because from your point of view, you've been Warehouse 13, and before that Smallville. Now you've kind of crossed with the comic side of things as well, because the character Jimmy Olsen is a traditional Superman character that people know and love from loads of series now. You take the mantle up and run with it, so you've got a new genre of fans outside of sci-fi. What's it been like to meet those as well?
It's been great. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that most of the people who have been into, Smallville and stuff are all, are big sci-fi fans and that. But to play a iconic character like that was amazing. Because it's true, you can run into somebody who's 75 years old who watched Smallville, or somebody who's really young, and it does really kind of cross an age range. So that's really neat. You always ran into different people, and even at some of the conventions that I went to in the States, like older people who they'd be like, "Oh, we watched the show," and I'm like, "Really? Like, you're older than my parents?" But so it's really interesting the scope of people who are interested and watch sci-fi. So it's pretty cool.
And one of the things about staying with Jimmy and, of course, with Steve Jinks on Warehouse 13 is that you kind of had, with Chloe, had a very unique relationship and a pivotal one. And then again, when you come to Warehouse 13, you have, with another strong female character, another pivotal role.
Yeah.
What's that been like for an actor? Because that must be kind of really interesting and challenging at the same time.
Well, it's great. Both Allisons are really, really fantastic, and I think bring some really strong things to the characters. The big difference between Jimmy and Steve and those dynamics is that Steve is gay. So the one character was, it was a romance thing with the Allison, and the other one, it's more of a friendship, kind of platonic brother sister type thing. But yeah, I feel very fortunate to work with I think some of the best actresses working, young actresses in TV. So it's been great.
And currently you, Lucas, with Haven as well, this season has seen a kind of a change in the relationship for you with Audrey, hasn't it?
That's right.
So what was that like? Because in the first season it's kind of smouldering, it's hinting, it's working its way up, and then in the second season it starts to come right towards the end as well, bang smack for it. What was that like for the change of you, and how would you kind of gauge your reaction to the fans when you've met them from that?
Yeah, I knew that was going to be something that we had to do right, because it was a long process to get there and a slow burn for the characters. So I was really glad that the writers didn't, I won't use that expression. Didn't jump into things right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, let it play out, and then even when it did happen, you know, we kissed at the end of the second season. It is still sort of a we don't really know what's gonna happen necessarily. We didn't beat it over the head, and people so far I think have enjoyed that.
And of course, one of the things that was mentioned last time here in London, it is worth bringing up, I think, is the fact that a lot of people refer to relationship to kind of like the classic Mulder and Scully type of relationship. How have you found that? Because obviously you as an actor and with Emily as an actress, you need to try and take it in a different way. Was that kind of a challenge to do that?
Well, I just decided that I would be Scully. And so that's our take on it. I mean,
gender reversals there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
Yeah. No, it's very easy with Emily. She's a lovely person and a total pleasure to work with, and we get along really well. And so there is. I like the dynamic between Nathan and Audrey, and I like the friendship that they have. You know, both of them are insular people, and they've both brought each other out of their shells. Well, she to him much more than he to her. But you know, beyond the romantic possibilities, they really mean a lot to each other as friends, and yeah, I think that's something really worth. That the show has done well in portraying that proper relationship. It's not a sort of syrupy TV thing. You know, we really do have respect for each other.
And I think that definitely is going to show going forward. And one of the things that's unique about what both of you are in Sci-Fi at the moment is the way that over certainly the last 10 to 20 years, it used to be a very strong male-dominated genre. Now it's kind of the shift is kind of more 50-50. So when you're both going for kind of roles, not so much you at the moment, but when you're doing that on your off-season, do you find that there's more of a shift now towards the stronger female-dominated roles, or do you still think it's 50-50?
I wouldn't say that it's 50-50. I still think that there's more, male-dominated stuff, especially if you look at the big movies and stuff. I mean, I think there is a change, which is good, but I still think that there's probably more male-dominated stuff. If you look at series, well, I guess it depends, like networks and stuff. You know, like CW's got a lot of female-driven shows and that. But yeah, I guess it's coming around. But I think it still could go a little bit further. Actually, I think.
Yeah, I think it still sucks to be a female actress.
Yeah,
you know?
it's getting better, but
it's getting way better.
Yeah, it's not quite.
Yeah, there are many more opportunities, but also there's so many more women trying to get those jobs too. You know, in our world, there's only me and him and like one other guy. You know? So
he's out of luck right now, but we're doing okay.
Tough luck on him. But in terms of each of you, the roles, particularly for Nathan and for you for Steve Jinks, how did you get those particular roles in your respective series?
After you.
After me. I begged. I really needed the damn job, and I remember after like there were a number of rounds of auditions, and the final network test was I brought in, I think I probably told you this last year, and I brought in a bag of Coffee Crisp chocolate bars, which, as you know, as a Canadian, is irresistible to people. So that went a long way in getting me the job, I think. But I spoke to Emily after she already was cast as Audrey Parker, and I spoke to her after the audition. She saw me by the elevators, and I was just like, I better get this freaking job. If I don't get this job, I am done. And she's like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I said, no, you don't understand. It had been a little while, and I had a new daughter, and it was a huge relief to get this job, and now to be going into our third season. It's amazing.
It was meant to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. I got Warehouse very strangely, because usually I'm sure you can attest to, you test and you do all these things, it's like this long drawn out process for a lot of these shows. And Warehouse 13 shoots in Toronto, and I'm from there. I was living down in LA, but I'd been back for a little while, and they'd been casting this role for quite a bit, and originally the character's name was Steve Chu, When I saw the breakdown for the character, I thought, Steve Chu. I'm not sure if I can play as Steve Chu. That might be a bit of a stretch. But I went in and took a meeting with the creator, Jack Kenny, and we just sat down and had breakfast and just kind of talked. And at the end of the meeting, he said, I think you're Steve. He's like, I really think I can see you, Steve. And, of course, I wanted to believe that. But I was also like, okay, he's just being a nice guy. And I'm going to leave this meeting, and I'll probably never hear from him again. But a day later, I got a call saying, we'd love you to come on board and play Steve Jinx. So just really lucky, in the right place at the right time, and obviously, had the thing that they were looking for. So, but it's very rarely that they come that easy. So I also feel like, it was meant to be for me too. I was right place at the right time. So.
Did you have breakfast or lunch or dinner?
I had breakfast.
Breakfast.
It was a breakfast meeting. It was early. Well,
Nice.
brunchish. Yeah.
What did you have?
I think I had not much, like an omelet, just something little. Didn't want to look too eager. He was paying,
right.
I didn't want to be like,
Right.
I'll have the steak and eggs, please. So I was
Right.
like, I'll keep it.
Thing is,
Smart move. See, he knew in that moment that he was not going to break the budget.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man, it's good.
Respectful actor.
Bad thing is though, if you didn't like the food and they bring it to you, you're like, do I complain because of us?
No,
or do I leave
no.
it?
You just eat it.
Right.
I'm so easy.
You
I'm
just
easy. Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah, just eat it.
The thing is, then he would probably go, oh, you're a really good actor, because if that was horrible, you're thinking, yes, score, I sold it on some bad eggs. That's great. But you mentioned there your daughter, and what is it like for kind of when you're working a long series for both of you, really, and you've got family, you've got loved ones you want to connect with, and you maybe, for example, partner might be in LA, you might be in Nova Scotia or Canada working. How do you kind of juggle the personal side of it, being away for such a long period of time?
Yeah.
Still working on that.
It's a challenge.
Yeah. My girlfriend lives in Toronto, so working on Warehouse 13 is literally my dream job, because I love the show and I love the character, and I get to be at home with my girlfriend. But when I was in Vancouver working on Smallville, I spent like a year and a half away from her. So, and we'd go back and forth on that, but it's really, really difficult, because you want to. I think in this career, sometimes you have to put other things, your personal life, on hold. And it's really difficult. And when you get a family in that, becomes, I'm sure, even more difficult. So it really is a juggle. And you hear all these relationships in Hollywood where people are breaking up, and and you're like, well, how come they can't keep it together? Well, when you think about it, somebody's working overseas somewhere, people are all over the place. It is difficult. The long distance thing really takes its toll. So you have to make a big effort, and I can only imagine with kids and stuff how difficult that would be.
Yeah, it's a trip, and especially we shoot outside of Halifax, Nova Scotia, but my family's in LA, and there's no direct flight from LA to Halifax, so by the time you travel, it's 10, almost 12, can be 12 hours. Wow. So I can't really go home on the weekends. I could commute there more easily from London or from Germany. There are direct flights out of Europe to Halifax. So it's tricky. So they came up as much as possible, and then for the second half of both the first and second season, they came and lived with me in Nova Scotia, and that was brilliant. This tiny little town my little girl loves, and goes to swimming lessons every day and gets ice cream and walks around the town. Everyone knows her. It's cool.
That sounds
but
pretty good.
It's all right. Yeah.
And you get to see Daddy at work and things.
Yeah. She comes to visit set now, and she knows that when they say action, she's supposed to be quiet. And she just sits there and she says, "Mom, I really want to say something now." And my wife has to put her hand over her mouth and run her out the back door often. But yeah, she loves to visit.
Maybe they should get like a little role for her as like a family, like a mother and daughter role on the show.
That's what we've been talking about. Tiny little Audrey Parker. Why not?
That'd be cool. Mini Audrey. Like a mini Audrey episode. That'd be awesome. And both of your characters have powers now of a sort. Now, do you ever find when you're going outside of the show and things like that, do people ever kind of get confused with you, who you are, your characters are? Does someone come up to you, for example, and say, "Hey, can you tell if I'm lying or not?" Or can they come up to you and try and, like, hopefully not, but like punch you or see if you can feel pain or anything?
Thankfully not.
That would be kind of painful.
Not yet.
It's a long weekend coming up.
Yeah,
it's a long weekend.
No.
Free hug can get a bit extreme.
I know. I'm expecting it any time. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not going to be
Are
bloody.
you going to punch me?
No, I'm not going to punch you. You're safe. Yeah, absolutely safe.
Just not in the face. Just not in the
Definitely.
face.
No. But what about yourself? Have you had anything like that, Aaron?
No, people haven't come up to me and done that too much. Like occasionally, but it's always when it's happened, they know it's going to be a bad joke, so they kind of say it and they're like, like it's not serious. So it's happened once or twice, but not a lot.
But there's
And
always
I
that-
just give them the, no.
But there's always that
Shame
pause,
them,
isn't it?
no.
There's always that pause because just having for you it must be enough because there's always that pause where they say it and then you think, are you joking or not? Do I have to run away now?
No.
Because I'll be like, oh no. Now it's Halloween coming up. Now, of course, if this is a little bit of a fun question to get in the Halloween spirit, if both of your characters went to a Halloween party, obviously you can't go as yourself. We can't go with the whole existential route this time.
Really?
So, but what kind of costumes do you think they would wear?
If our characters
went to a costume, yeah, and why?
Wow.
That is a tough one.
Nathan would probably not go to a Halloween party.
Right.
And would not dress up as anything.
Right.
But if he were forced
Yeah.
or drugged, maybe a fun outfit for him would be that of his arch nemesis, Duke Crocker. You know, I
Nice.
could wear like baggy, ripped jean shirts and long necklaces and grow a little goatee, a little pirate mustache. You know,
Sounds pretty good.
sleaze around.
Nice.
Yeah, tell lies, bad jokes, rip people off.
That's a great Halloween party to
Yeah,
you, doesn't it?
yeah.
And what about yourself, Aaron?
Oh God. I'm trying to think like really in character who he would dress up as. I think I really can't think in character who would dress up as. I can tell you who I was going to dress up as this year.
Yeah,
I was
go.
really thinking about it because I just started reading the Invisibles, Grant Morrison,
Yeah.
and my head's shaved, and I thought I wouldn't have to be too much shorter for me to do that. I've been watching all this stuff, these weird documentaries about him and stuff, and he's a real nut, and I think he's awesome. So that's who I think I'd probably go as. And maybe Steve. Maybe Steve reads comic books. Maybe he's a big, Grant Morrison fan. So I'm gonna say that.
Here at the event this weekend at the MCM Expo, other than yourselves, there's loads of fantastic guests that we've got. And you, over the course of your career, at both your respective times on the shows, have worked with some fantastic people. If there was any other guests that you could bring into a series, I mean, you, for example, at the moment, Luke is working with the WWE Superstar Edge, which has been a delight for viewers because his character has been brilliant.
Yeah.
But if there's anyone else you guys could kind of bring in, who would it be? Who would you love to work with, and why?
Like just like any actor.
Any actor.
Oh, jeez. That's like. Well, I think
would
Al
be your
Pacino
dream-
would be great on
Yeah,
Warehouse
Pacino.
13. I
Yeah?
think maybe. Yeah, he'd be a good bad guy. Maybe
Yeah.
for a season 4. Maybe they get Al Pacino. And, you know.
Well, that would be an amazing one.
Because
Yeah.
he's kind of got that a little bit like. Sometimes he the caricature of himself, a little bit of comedic stuff he does really well too when he's playing himself. So I think he'd be a good bad guy for the show. Maybe we won't pitch
budget
that.
just
pitch
went-
that to Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi, are you guys watching?
Yeah, that would be good. What about yourself?
Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
Yes, so
Good
I don't have to
call.
play Scully anymore. Gonna have her. That would be amazing.
You know, the Scully on Scully, the Scully, that would change the dynamic of your
I
Mulder
know,
Scully
it-
thing.
it
Quite a
would,
bit
it
there.
would.
I
Threesome.
think-
Mulder,
Yeah.
Scully, and Scully.
Mulder, Scully.
Scully. That's an interesting threesome. That'd be a great season ender, wouldn't it? What a great way to end season 3.
Yep.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us here on the
Thank you.
MCM Buzz and the MCM Expo. I hope you have a fantastic time this weekend.
Thank you very much.